Hey everybody, I just wanted to put together this brief tutorial to show you this new technique that I've been playing with to get a little bit more of a comic book effect with my coloring. And what's going to end up happening is all the shadow will be half-tone, so that's the one kind of downside to the thing. But I think it actually works pretty cool. So let me show you exactly what I'm doing here. Right now I have a ton of layers, so I'm going to turn some of these off. Some of these are effects. Here's my white highlights, and here is my actual shadow layer. So this is what the art looks like with nothing at all applied to it. You add the shadow, you add the white, and you actually have some dimension there. So what I'm gonna do is I'll trash my shadow layer and create a new one, and just kind of show you how I did this real quick. So the first thing I'm going to do here is select select all of my color art, and then go back into this new shadow layer I made, and I'm going to take this background color and sample it, which is navy blue, and I'm going to just go ahead and fill this with 60% of that color, and I'm going to have this. And basically what I'm going to do now is just erase away this navy blue color to get all my light and stuff like that. So I'll start here with this pig, and I'm gonna take my magic wand tool and have it set to contiguous and sample all layers. So sample these little parts. And I'm gonna take this eraser tool, and I want to use one that has a hard edge but feathers with pressure of the stylus. So I'm gonna come here and I'm just gonna start erasing. And what I want to keep in mind when I'm doing this is my light source. And you don't always want to just make it realistic. Sometimes you want to also help tie the whole piece together. So what I'm going to do here is I don't want to have this guy lit from back here and have everyone lit this way, because it becomes distracting. So this little pig's just going to get a little bit of like rim lighting here, so stays he's not dominant. He's just kind of recedes a little bit. So I have this, and then I also want to throw in a little bit of reflected light there, just to help give him a little bit of dimension. And that looks about good to me. And then I'm gonna come over here and start in, let me do the crown real quick. And I'm using this with a high opacity. I really don't want to be too subtle with the coloring. I just want to I want to be able to feather it a little bit, but if you get too loose it doesn't really print very well. Things get a little too small. So for this bird, since I have this white layer visible, which normally the white I would paint this last, and I would do all this stuff first, but since I already have it done, I'll use it as a guide. It'll make this go a little quicker. I'm going to need to hide that so I can select this stuff. Since I have sample on all layers, it'll want to exclude the white normally. So go back in here with the same eraser. I'm just going to start erasing, trying to keep in mind that these guys are kind of spherical. Give him a little bit of reflected light, and for the purposes of this quick tutorial, this should be good enough. Now what I want to do here is I'm going to take that same background color, and I'm going to take my brush tool, and I'm using an airbrush, basically the same exact brush as the eraser, but this time I'm going 20% opacity, and I'm just going to start painting in these cast shadows here. And if I go too dark on them, I could just go back with the eraser, lower the flow or opacity on that, and knock them back a little bit. I could also, make them a little bit sharper on the edges. Here I have these dent marks that I wanted to make, so I'm just gonna go ahead and make some shapes here, about like that. Then I'll go back in with the eraser, make some hard edges. Erase back into it. Do the same here. Just basically you want to give the illusion of depth. I could see, I'll bump that up a little bit, reduce the flow. I can make some other little like sort of battle type battle damage scoring or whatever marks here and there. Go back to my eraser tool, make another dent here. And sometimes it's helpful to zoom out a little bit, see where you're at. Make sure you're not getting too detailed in a place that doesn't really need it. Come in here and do this area. I want my light coming from here. My little core shadows. Always always just try to keep track of exactly what you've done and what you're doing, and I try to think ahead a little bit while I'm doing this too. There, some of this stuff is just gonna get a quick little shot with this eraser. You don't always want to go too much into detail on things. Here, same thing. And you sort of get the picture of what exactly goes on with that. Once I have this, what I'm going to end up doing is just making halftones. Let's see. What I could do here is I'll duplicate this image, and I'll just make halftones for the shadows. I don't make halftones for everything right now. Actually, I could just keep that. Here's my shadow layer. I'm going to lock the opacity, fill it in with black, switch it to grayscale, don't merge, discard. Switch it to bitmap, and what I'm going to do is use line shaped halftones at a frequency of 20 lines per inch, and it gives you something that looks like this. So I'm going to switch that mode of that back to grayscale, and then just drag this grayscale channel into my original drawing. Now I can go in the shadow layer, clear everything out, select everything in this new alpha channel that I just made, and fill it in with that background color. And what you end up having is something that looks like that. As you can see, the lines there that make up the thing. And we go back to my original, and this is what my original art looked like before I made this tutorial. This is my final version without halftones. And see, we'll open my final version with halftones. And that's what it looks like up close. You zoom out a little bit, and that's what you have. Thanks for watching. Hopefully that was clear and made sense. I'll be doing more tutorials again later.